Okay, real talk. I used to think that getting rich meant one of three things. You either inherited money, you got insanely lucky with crypto, or you worked yourself into the ground for 40 years and hoped there was something left at the end. But then I started obsessing, and I mean obsessing, over the data behind wealth. And what I found completely changed how I think about money. Because it turns out the people who are quietly building life-changing wealth right now, they're not doing anything dramatic. They're just doing 10 small things consistently every single day. And nobody's talking about this. Now, atomic habits doesn't mean nuclear. It comes from the idea that small, consistent actions, tiny as an atom, are the building blocks of massive results over time. James Clear made this concept famous. And when you apply it specifically to money, the math gets honestly kind of wild. By the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly why some people seem to effortlessly build wealth, while the rest of us wonder where our paycheck went. Some of these habits are going to feel obvious, but I promise the way I'm going to explain them is going to change how you actually use them. Let's get into it. Habit number 1. And I want you to really hear this one, because most people think they're doing this. They're not. The quietly rich pay themselves first. Not after rent, not after groceries, not whatever's left over at the end of the month. Because there's never anything left over at the end of the month. Here's how most of us actually work with money. Paycheck comes in, we pay rent, we pay bills, we buy groceries, we go out a few times, maybe a little online shopping, and then we look at our account at the end of the month and think, I'll start saving next month. But next month never comes. The quietly wealthy flip this completely. The moment their paycheck hits, an automatic transfer goes out to their 401k, their Roth IRA, their investment account, before they ever see it. Before their brain even registers it as spendable. And the math on this will make your jaw drop. If you're 28 years old and you automate just $300 a month into an index fund, earning the S&P 500's historical average of about 10% per year, by the time you're 58, you'll have over $600,000. You didn't have to think about it once. But here's the part that always gets me. Starting just 2 years later, at age 30 instead of 28, with the exact same contributions, could cost you over $70,000. That's the cost of 2 years of I'll start next month. So, action step for this one is simple. This week, log into your bank or employer benefits portal. Set up an automatic investment transfer for the day after your paycheck hits. Even if it's $50, even if it's $25, the habit matters more than the amount right now. Habit number 2, tracking or budgeting. Okay, I know what you're thinking. Matt, please don't tell me to make a budget. I've tried budgeting. It doesn't work for me. And honestly, I hear you. Traditional budgeting feels like being on a financial diet. Restrictive, stressful. And the moment you cheat, you feel like you've failed and throw the whole thing out. But here's what the quietly wealthy actually do instead. They track their net worth. Not every dollar they spend, not every $6 coffee, their net worth. Net worth is just this. Everything you own minus everything you owe. Assets minus liabilities, your number. And here's why tracking this one number changes everything. When you track spending, every decision feels like a sacrifice. When you track net worth, every decision becomes a game. Did my number go up this month or down? Humans are wired to compete, especially against ourselves. When wealth building feels like a game you can win, you actually want to play it. Apps like Empower, formerly Personal Capital, or even a basic Google Sheet can track this in under 10 minutes a month. And here's something I want to plant in your brain right now. One of the habits later in this video, when you combine it with monthly net worth tracking, creates what I call a wealth momentum loop. I'll come back to that. Don't skip ahead. You'll want to see this one in context. Habit number 3, asset and liability, is where I think the real wealth gap starts. And it comes down to one concept that most of us were never taught in school. The difference between an asset and a liability. An asset is something that puts money in your pocket. It makes you money while you sleep. A liability is something that takes money out of your pocket. It costs you money just to own it. Simple, right? Here's where it gets complicated. A lot of things that feel like assets are actually liabilities in disguise. That brand new car you bought, it loses 20% of its value the second you drive off the lot. That giant house you stretch to afford, if you're not renting any of it out, it's costing you money every month. Now, I want to be clear. I'm not saying don't buy nice things. The quietly wealthy buy nice things, but they buy assets first and lifestyle upgrades second. They build the machine that generates money. Then they let the machine pay for the things they want. The filter they use before every major purchase is one simple question. Is this going to make me money or cost me money? That's it. Ask that question enough times over enough years and the results are staggering. Habit number 4, they buy more. When everyone else is selling, that goes against every instinct you have. And it's the one that separates the people who eventually build wealth from the people who never quite get there. Quietly wealthy buy consistently. And they actually love when markets go down. I know, it sounds backwards. Let me explain. This strategy is called dollar cost averaging, and it's probably the single most powerful tool that everyday investors consistently underuse. Here's the mindset shift. When your grocery store has a 40% off sale on something you buy every week, do you panic and stop buying it? No, you buy more. The market is literally putting assets on sale, and people run. Investors who stayed invested through the 2008 crash, the 2020 COVID crash, every single scary moment in market history, they came out dramatically wealthier on the other side. The ones who sold at the bottom and bought back near the top, they locked in their losses and missed the recovery. Warren Buffett didn't become one of the wealthiest people in human history by timing the market perfectly. He got there by staying in the market consistently for decades. You can do the same thing with an index fund and an automatic monthly investment. The habit, set up automatic monthly investing and promise yourself you will never turn it off when things feel scary, especially when things feel scary. Habit number 5, they audit their life for hidden wealth drains every 6 months. Okay, this is the one I mentioned earlier. The habit that, when you combine it with monthly net worth tracking, creates the wealth momentum loop. Let me show you what I mean. The average American spends around $215 a month on subscription services and recurring charges, Netflix, multiple streaming platforms, gym memberships they stopped using in February, apps they downloaded once and forgot about, boxes that auto-renewed 3 years ago. $215 a month feels like nothing. But watch what happens if you invest that instead. Over 25 years at the market's historical average return, that's over $280,000 from canceling subscriptions you weren't even enjoying. Now here's the wealth momentum loop. Every 6 months, you do a 30-minute subscription audit. Anything you don't actively love and use regularly, gone. That money redirects immediately into your investment account. Your net worth goes up. You see your net worth score improve. That motivates you to find more inefficiencies, which increases your investments, which grows your net worth further. Loop, momentum, wealth. Action step. This weekend, open your bank app. Filter recurring charges. Ask yourself honestly, would I sign up for this again today? If the answer is no, cancel it. Send that money to your investment account. Habit number 6. They treat financial education like a subscription they'll never cancel. Here's a stat that I think about a lot. A study found that financial illiteracy costs the average American over $1,300 every single year, not over a lifetime, per year. That's money lost not from bad investments or bad luck, but from simply not knowing things that other people know. And here's the thing about financial knowledge that I love. It compounds. Just like money. Every financial concept you learn slightly improves every financial decision you'll ever make for the rest of your life. understanding how expense ratios work in ETFs. That knowledge might save you 0.5% per year. Over 30 years of investing, that's tens of thousands of dollars. Understanding how a Roth IRA conversion works could save you $10,000 or more in taxes in a single year. Understanding how to negotiate your salary could add $5,000 to your income this year, just from one conversation. The return on financial education is genuinely unlimited, and you don't need to spend money on courses or seminars, books from the library, finance podcasts on your commute, channels like this one new financial concept per week. That's 52 per year. Over 5 years, you become legitimately knowledgeable in a way that most Americans never are. Habit number 7, they use the tax code, like a cheat code. Okay, this one is so important and so few people talk about it clearly. The US tax code, as complicated and annoying as it is, actually contains some of the most powerful wealth building tools available to any American. You just have to know where to look. Let me break down the big 3. First, the 401k. You contribute money from your paycheck before taxes are taken out. That means if you're in the 22% tax bracket and you contribute $10,000 this year, you save $2,200 in taxes right now, this year. And if your employer matches contributions, that's free money, literally free. Not taking the full match is like walking past a $20 bill on the ground and leaving it there. Second, the Roth IRA, you contribute after-tax money up to $7,000 per year in 2025, and it grows completely tax-free. When you retire and pull that money out, 0 taxes, not reduced taxes, 0. Depending on how much your investments grow, this could save you hundreds of thousands of dollars in retirement. Third, the HSA, the one almost nobody talks about. If you have a high deductible health plan, you can open a health savings account, and it has a triple tax advantage. Tax deductible contributions, tax-free growth, tax-free withdrawals for medical expenses. Bond. After age 65, you can withdraw for anything, making it basically a bonus retirement account. But here's the part I really want you to understand. The account you hold your investment in matters as much as what you invest in. The same index fund inside a Roth IRA versus a taxable brokerage account can result in a difference of tens of thousands of dollars at retirement, just from where you put it. Habit number 8, they build multiple streams of income, but start with just one. You've probably heard that the average millionaire has 7 streams of income. 7. And that number probably either motivated you or stressed you out. But here's the context that stat desperately needs. Those millionaires did not start with 7 streams. They started with 1, and they made it work before they moved to the next one. Here's the real reason multiple income streams matter. Your job is not guaranteed, no matter how good you are, no matter how indispensable you feel. Companies downsize, industries shift, algorithms change, layoffs happen. A second income stream is financial insurance. Now, your second stream doesn't have to be a side hustle empire. It doesn't have to be an Etsy store or a drop shipping business or a YouTube channel. It can be dividend income from an ETF or dividend-focused stock portfolio, completely passive. Interest income from a high-yield savings account or bonds. Rental income from a spare room or property, freelancing income from a skill you already have. The habit isn't about doing everything at once. It's about asking yourself this, every single quarter, what is one step I can take this week toward income that doesn't require all my hours? One step per quarter towards something bigger. Habit number 9, they protect their wealth as hard as they build it. Here's the habit that beginner investors almost always skip, and it might be the most expensive mistake on this entire list. Building wealth is one thing. Losing it to something you could have prevented is another. The quietly wealthy protect their downside as obsessively as they chase their upside. Here's what that looks like practically. Emergency fund, 3 to 6 months of living expenses, sitting in a high-yield savings account, not your checking account where it blends in with your spendable money. Without this, one unexpected job loss or medical bill forces you to sell investments at the worst possible time or rack up high-interest debt that undoes years of progress. Insurance, health insurance, life insurance, if you have people depending on you, and disability insurance, which is wildly underrated. Here's a sobering stat. You are statistically far more likely to become disabled before retirement age than to die before retirement age. But most people have life insurance and nothing to protect their income if they can't work. Estate planning, a will, beneficiary designations reviewed annually. If you have assets, any assets, this matters. And most people under 40 have never thought about it for a single second. The mindset here is simple. Growth and protection, not one or the other, both. Habit number 10, they play the long game. And they never, ever stop. Last habit. And in some ways, it's the simplest and the hardest. The quietly wealthy never stop. Not during downturns, not during recessions, not when the news is terrible and every headline says to panic. They play the long game without apology, without distraction, without stopping. And the data on this is remarkable. Every single one of those red moments felt like the end of the world when it was happening. People sold, panicked, moved to cash, waited for things to calm down, and then the market recovered, as it always has. And the people who stayed invested, who kept buying, who didn't flinch, they're the ones who are quietly, comfortably wealthy today. There's actually a study, I love this one, from Fidelity Investments, looking at which accounts performed best over a long period. The top performing accounts, they belonged to people who had forgotten they had the accounts, or to people who had passed away. The secret to building wealth isn't intelligence, it's patience, paired with consistent action. The action step, write down your financial goal, your time horizon, your why. On the bad days, when markets drop and the news is scary, go back and read what you wrote. On the bad days, when markets drop and the news is scary, go back and read what you wrote. Then do nothing. That nothing is the habit. Okay, let's bring it all home. 10 atomic habits. Pay yourself first. Track your net worth, not just your spending. Obsess over acquiring assets. Invest consistently, especially when it feels wrong. Audit your life for wealth drains every 6 months. Never stop learning. Use every legal tax advantage available to you. Build multiple income streams, starting with one. Protect everything you build and play the long game, no matter what. None of these are secret. None of them require a finance degree. None of them require a 6-figure income. What they require is something simpler and honestly harder than either of those. Consistency over time, without quitting. Your future self is being built right now, not by the big moments, by what you do today and tomorrow and the day after that. Start with one habit from this list, just one, and let it pull the others in. If this video helped you even a little, drop a comment below. Tell me, which habit are you starting this week? Seriously, I read them. I want to know. And if you're not subscribed yet, your future self is very quietly asking you to hit that button. Because next week, I'm going to break down something that most people misunderstand completely. The number one investing mistake that quietly destroys even the best intentioned portfolios. You're going to want to see that one. I'll see you there.